All right, we're live. Welcome
Hey,
to this week's blog chat with Lance and Gabe. It's the Lance and Gabe show
hey, Gabe.
because we're talking about night photography books. Hey, Lance, how are you?
This is the first blog chat in about, I don't know, 3 months without Matt.
I know. Just
So
for everyone who's concerned, he was here right up until about 2 minutes ago, getting us settled and comfortable. So thank
that's
you,
right. He was
Matt.
he was showing us how to use the software.
Exactly. And good to see everyone here in the house. MrRat.com, good to see you. Eunice, good to see you as
Hey, Eunice.
well. Right on. So bear with us tonight. Just because we're the two new people are driving the Millennium Falcon here tonight, but we're so happy to have you for another edition of Blog Chat. And this week's Blog Chat is going to be super fun because this week's Blog Chat is going to be talking about two things that both Lance and I love, and that is night photography books. Both of us have extensive bookshelves and bookcases, bookshelves that overfloweth. We both love visiting each other and kind of perusing. And I remember last year's blog chat when you did our first top 10 night photography books, and then we started building the bookshelf at nationalparksatnight.com as a wonderful reference. I spent a few $100 after that. After that, so people listen at your own risk. I'm thrilled to see version 2 of this come out, and also pretty much I own 9 of the 10 books that we're going to talk about tonight, so I feel very comfortable that I don't need to be purchasing any more books quite yet. Awesome. And then let's do a share screen just of the blog. Here we go. Let's see. Or can I? Yes. Let's see. So let me do a.
Hey, Suzanne.
Share screen.
So, you guys, we are so used to Matt being the director of this program that you have to give us a pass. Here we go.
All so right. This last week's blog post, the next 10 steps, 10 more books to round out your night photography library. Lance, tell us about what putting this blog together.
Right. Well, like you said, we did the first one of these with the so-called essential night photography books. Last fall, I think last September, and I, of course, had a hard time limiting myself to just 10. But it's a challenge sometimes to continuously come up with new content every single week, a new topic. And Chris is so good about when we're drawing blanks, suggesting something. Mm-hmm. And he said, how about 10 more books? I was like, yeah, sure. I've got a whole how about 100 more books? So of course, there we go. Let's see. And as I was working on this and looking at the shelf and deciding what to pull off there, I started thinking about, I was listening to Apple Music, and I started thinking about their playlists is like, they've got the essentials, and that was the first one. And then the next steps, and then deep cuts, which will be version 3 coming on in a little while.
Right. So, awesome.
So this is the next steps. These are probably, maybe not the first ones that you're going to buy, but good ones to add to your collection. Awesome. So
we've got a couple comments. I just want to share those. We've got Emmanuel. Hey guys, I was just thinking yesterday I need to either buy a new set of shelves to sort out this book addiction. Yes, exactly. I think right.
Hey, Manu.
More IKEA bookshelves, or build your own. I love that you can kind of build and craft your own, and different areas of your living room and house can make up good areas to kind of showcase books. a pro tip from me is that I have a coffee table. So when I get a new book, I put the new book on the coffee table. And that's my new reading spot. It's right by the window light. It's away from my office, which to me, my office is just too much computer work, too much other stuff. I like to have my reading space. So I put that new book on the coffee table, and as I have to walk by it every day, so it's taking a 2-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute break or whatever, an hour break to read that, because oftentimes I'll let the day consume me. And Nancy's a big book reader. But all these photo books, these are not books that you want to read in the bed under like just the little, lamp by your bed. These are ones you want to pour over, and really look at.
So, Gabe, a lot of people I know have what they call their guilt pile.
Yes.
And for most people, that's like books of fiction or nonfiction that they bought and haven't read yet.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. I've got those too. Yep.
For me, I've got a guilt pile, but my guilt pile is like, I just spent $75 on another photography book. Well, so it's a different kind of guilt pile.
I will say photography books are generally, especially the monographs and stuff like that, they're pretty easy, right? What words you got to get through? You got to get through an intro. You got to get through sort of, maybe a little 3 to 5 pages, intro by the author, intro by, a feature person, but then you're just looking at beautiful works, right? So it doesn't, I bought plenty of books just to have them. And, but take the time, make sure that we are investing in these, but also enjoying them and using them to inspire us. And I often am recalling so many images from night photographers to help inspire me in the field. Yes. Either in the field or a project or something like that. So get that into your brain ASAP. And that would be my advice.
So, and I think I've always felt that looking at the work of other photographers is an important way to learn. And, so much of the imagery that we see these days are, little teeny tiny JPEGs on Instagram and Facebook, and we flip through them and we scroll through them. But, the visceral experience of holding a book in your hand and taking your time with it, spent lingering on the pages of the images that you really relate to and going faster over the ones you don't. Having a bigger physical thing, it's such a different experience than looking at images on a screen, And
a book tells the story. It's that photographer's story project, So it's just great to see. I mean, we always, if you've seen National Park Society, we love printing, but also what's the end goal, right? Is the end goal a print, or is it a book, or is it a show? I hope it's not just Instagram. I mean, yes, it's on Instagram for the marketing purposes and to share and all that kind of stuff like that. But hopefully we're also building to something bigger that we can celebrate. And I think I mentioned this last time for our thing, but I love at the end of each year, I didn't do so much in 2020 year, but usually when I have a year full of travel and adventures and stuff like that, to publish a book of your work, of your travels. And I have those books, that I just use Blurb, something like Blurb built into Lightroom, simple, easy thing to do. And it's just a reference. It's a wonderful album. We're not making photo albums anymore, but we can simply make these photo books to celebrate our work. And then hopefully you can work on something, whether it's self-published or if you can work with a publisher to get a wonderful coffee table book or a how-to book, whatever you want to do. That is also an amazing achievement. To have that feather in your hat is just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And isn't it really amazing the quality that you can get from Blurb?
Yeah, totally.
It doesn't have the same prestige, if you will, of having a publisher, print 2,000 copies of a monograph. But for most of us, it's a more realistic option, and the print quality can be as good as most, professionally published books. And I've seen a lot of established professional photographers using Blurb and selling blurb books.
Yep.
In fact, when I was writing this post last week, one of the books that I considered for the post was Rolf Horn's 28 Photographs. He was Michael Kenna's assistant before Jason Langer. And no, I'm sorry, he was the second assistant after Jason. And he had a book published by Nezreli Press that sold out, went out of print.
Mm-hmm.
And he decided I guess he got permission, but he decided to republish it and make it available as a blurb book.
Yep.
Pretty cool little option there.
Yeah, I think blurb can be used for that purposes. And I use a lot of their kind of lower end sort of test ones, simple soft cover 5x5, just to get ideas. To get either ideas about maybe something I'll do bigger and better. I also want to point out Bay Photo also creates, now they're more on the high end, their books are lay flat design, which that's beautiful, especially if you want to do a double spread, image.
More like albums, right?
Yeah, they're like albums, but beautiful books. You can use their albums as well. And that is that's probably a higher end solution. And a lot of people using it in that sort of wedding world, but it can totally be applied to this world as well. So whatever it is, bottom line is celebrate it, publish it. I see my mom, she's in here. We did a trip to Lofoten, and then I gave her, for Christmas, I gave her this beautiful Lofoten book of our trip. And that was, Mom, chime in if you want, but I think it was the best gift you got that year. and for photographers, we love to kind of that's the ability we can do is share our work, especially with family and loved ones. We're taking pictures of people and family to kind of celebrate that in book form is just super, super important. So Jay Jeffries, he just received Adam Woodsworth's book that he just launched for Night Photo Summit. I was worried about that being printed on glossy paper. I got my copy yet, but Lance, you've got a copy of that. Jay says it's beautiful and informative. And I wouldn't doubt Adam. Adam is incredibly intelligent and wonderful educator, knows his stuff. So, but I was a little worried about the glossiness. So you guys both is it fine?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't had time to read it yet. It's on my guilt pile.
Nice.
But flipping through it, it looks great. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks like a quality publication. And Alicia, one of the winners of Troy's book. I'm glad you got that. I was the one who got to mail those out, so I'm glad you received it.
Straight from Vermont.
And then Ken mentioned that's a good book. Well, I want to start things off, and we're going to do a little show and tell here. I got another great book that was not on the blog post this week, but since the author is here,
let's give him some props.
Let's take a look. So this is Ken's book. I think it's the same publisher of some of Troy's more recent books, like Boneyard, and it's kind of similar format. But beautiful work, Ken, and I just great. This is one of my favorite covers. I love the cover design and the layout on this. I hope you guys will check this out. So Ken has been photographing abandonments and abandoned sites in the California desert for a long time. And when did this come out? It was it 2019 or 2020, Ken? It's fairly recently.
Yeah, I think it came out right before pandemic. Right?
Yeah, I think so. So Abandoned Southern California, The Slowing of Time by Ken Lee. That's definitely one to add to your collection.
And he's got a new one in the works.
Yes, he does. That's right.
He's got a new one in the works too. That should be out. I believe Ken, drop in any information. People can follow you as well and sign up for those notifications. But I believe later this year, you'll have that new book. December 2019. Yep, right before. I remember. I was like, that was one of the first books I read because it was in my to-do list during the pandemic. I've read a lot of books during the pandemic time. I will say that. I finally caught up. I mean, go, traveling and stuff. You're not really bringing books with. I love reading on my iPad now, and I don't like read photo books. Obviously on that, photo books are a more tactile experience. But I want to, like I said, now that I'm at home, I've worked out that coffee table thing, and that is key. And okay, second one's coming out September, October. Keep an eye on that, folks.
Excellent. Cool.
So,
all right.
Well, if you showed Ken's, then we should really segue into Troy's book, which this is. You put this on your list, The Lost America.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which this is his first book. This is Troy's first book.
It is. Troy, and that includes some of Troy's images, film images dating all the way back to 1989. So
show you the signature on mine.
But Nancy Moore.
Nancy Moore. Troy. So if you know Troy, right,
he knows what side his bread is buttered on. So so Troy's been photographing. He really kind of, you can almost say invented the genre of light painting abandoned roadside distractions, especially in California desert and small towns. Really built up a huge following over the years on Flickr. And that's really where a lot of people came to know his work. One of the cool things about that particular book is some of the anecdotes, the stories about how he made them. Especially the one about the drive-in movie screen. With the Olympia cans on the trunk of the car there. I've heard the funny thing. I've heard the story from both Troy and from Tom, his brother, who was there with him, and he was the one popping the flash on the drive-in screen under, with the red gel on it. And they both emphasized different aspects of the evening there. Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty, right, of shooting together under the same thing. We all kind of shoot and remember different things, different elements were more important, resonated with us. But that's a classic. I mean, Troy's got a bunch of books. I think we put them all the different books in our blog, with the most recent one, of course, being Junkyard Nights, which several people got free copies of this. And definitely progression, I think, as Ken mentioned. We'll post that right up there. But yeah, a lot of film work in Lost America. And a lot of the early work, right? But what's so special about that is I think the most important thing about Troy's work is that he's gone and documented this Lost America, which is quickly disappearing if it hasn't disappeared already, right? So that's the key thing and that's why that Lost America book is so important. That almost, I would say, all locations of Lost America are gone. Junkyard Nights, I like this format, and I like this. This is what America Through Time. It's like Acadia, it's America Through Time. And the same. I like this format. This is kind of like a nice, small, easily digestible book, and you can see this is Troy at his best, at his finest. A lot of really fine-tuned light painting. He's a lot of these works. He's using that prototype flashlight and very controlled, and just his visions have even gotten stronger and stronger through that. So if you like any of that sort of abandoned America, cars, classic cars, junkyards, that kind of stuff, he's got a bunch of different themes. He's got the Boneyard one, which focuses on the abandoned airplanes, but amazing artist,
Yeah, and then there's one more that. So we showed the original Lost America, and then the series of Boneyard and Junkyard Nights, and Night Salvage is the next one that's about to come out. But this is the second book, which I really like this one because it has larger images and.
Here, hold on. Let me give you the. Boop. There you go.
There we go. So bigger images, which are kind of easier to see. It's funny. A lot of I've noticed that a lot of the abandoned light painting books have black pages, black borders. No Kern's book, which we're going to look at in a little bit, has that as well.
Yeah.
So, so this one is called Night Vision.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was sort of like the difference between his first one and second one is like, all right, he kind of scrapped together that first book, and it's a wonderful book, but that's like that's an art book,
Yeah, I think it's the best physical quality of the books that he's got out. So hey, while we're looking at abandoned roadside light painting books, let's pull out Noel Kern's Night Watch. So Noel, like Troy, originally built up his following on Flickr and became known for the work that he was doing there on Flickr. And he credits Troy and a bunch of other photographers in his introduction for the inspiration and the motivation. So this book, Noel is from outside of Dallas. He's done a lot of things over the years. He's currently makes his day job is a night job. Actually, he's a singer-songwriter performing in bars and clubs around Dallas as his day/night job.
Cool.
But so this book, let's see. Let me flip through and find a page or two to show. It includes a lot of work from Texas, and you'll notice that it may feel in some ways similar to.
Yep. There we go.
Sorry, I'm like dyslexic here when it comes to
going after abandoned America and sort of the ruins of Americana. That's not a new thing, and that's something that has got a nice nostalgic point to it. And both Troy and Ken have explored California quite extensively. That's a beautiful image. Noel doing more in the South, like Texas and that region.
And he's got a lot of really cool Detroit images as well.
Yep.
But it's interesting. A lot of these guys are covering similar subject matter, but they definitely have their own style, and if you spend some time with the work, you can see it. Let's see.
That one's awesome. That one is awesome.
Yeah. So, here's some Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that Abandoned America, right? There's also the guy Abandoned America, who he's got some really good books. More daytime
focus issues tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have you got one for us, Gabe?
Let's see. Well, hold on. We got a comment from Hadley. Hadley's got one for us. Ron Pinkerton's The Last Stand, focusing on the Mojave Desert. We're familiar with Ron Pinkerton. He is a low light level champion. And I actually bumped into him. Matt Hill and I bumped into him when we were doing Natural Bridges. We were both shooting a Wacha bridge, and he came there with his group of like 2 or 3 people. And I got to say, it's always sort of when another night photography group comes to a specific location, you're like, okay, how are we going to work this out? And Ron, he was such a kind, awesome, gentle guy. And he's like, hey, can we just, can we do some low level light painting? Do you mind if I drop in some lights, under here? And he was very careful with his placement of all these lights that were, in that area, there's a lot of holes. So he's just kind of putting them in all the holes, and it lit it up perfectly and set it up for everyone. And it was so awesome to meet in person. But I do not have that book. I want to check that out for sure. Thank you for that recommendation, Hadley. Great.
Yeah, thanks, Hadley. I haven't seen that one myself either. So definitely.
We're hoping to get out of this without spending any more money, but unfortunately, Hadley got us. Right. So let's see. Let me pull out one from here. Let's go. All right.
What's a good segue?
Let's We got Night Watch. I'm gonna go with this. This is one of my favorite books. You can see it's just a blank white cover, but this is just a beautiful book from one of my favorite artists. This is and look at it. That's like he does white on white.
Is that the Beatles?
Why is this white on white? Because this is Hiroshima Sugimoto's book Theaters, which all those pictures are of the white screen in the theater, right? So the book is representing that white screen. And what's beautiful about his images, before I show you, I just want to tell the story about him. Amazing artist. I was fortunate enough. He had a wonderful show in San Francisco. I believe I traveled a little bit. This was like early 2000s, maybe 2004 or 6 or something like that. And he had a overview of his work. I'd been familiar with his theater's work, but everything he touches, and he plays with a lot of long exposures, but his theater works is sort of the most keyed in one, because not only does he do long exposures in indoor theaters, but then he took it to the drive-ins, which is really cool. He uses large format cameras. He's usually shooting with a 4x5 or 8x10 camera. And when I remember the quote from his first experiment, he said, "What if? I wonder what'll happen if I go into a theater and I expose a single sheet of film for the entirety of the movie." So he went into some theater at the Lower East Side, with this idea. And I kind of imagine him like walking into this theater with a trench coat, smuggling in a large format camera and a tripod, but was probably a theater that didn't even care about it. And he sets it up on the balcony. And then as soon as the screen opens and the movie plays, he exposes it. I believe he would use whatever film and then just usually a modest aperture, f11, f16, and then shuts it off on the way out. And when he said he developed that image, the first image, he kind of nailed it. He just had to do minor tweaks to it. But he said when he developed that first image in the darkroom, his mind exploded with that vision. And I love that. It's like when you got it right, your mind explodes with that vision. So he just kind of took it. And what's beautiful about his work is that, he was documenting these theaters, which during this time in the 90s, these theaters were going away, right? The multiplexes were coming out. So this is just a wonderful documentary work of sort of the cinema's sort of grand last stand. A really, really beautiful book. I will say, I think, and you noted this, and I was able to get this at the exhibit, and I spent like $100 on this photo book at the time. But even at that point, the only version of this, the first edition of this book, like the gallery show edition of this book, hard to find, thousands of dollars, right? So this was the first time when he did this show, and in the early 2000s, this was the first time that he collected all of his theater work together in a beautiful hardcover book. And I was like, I don't care what it costs. Well, I mean, new books usually can get for, under 100 or 100-ish, for a beautiful book like this. So and I think now you're saying, Lance, this book now goes like $500 on the open market.
I think there were some. I think there were some for 300 or so.
Yeah.
I was able to find there is the French language version on Amazon US, our regular Amazon, for 65.
Right.
65 or 75. So that's
French, or you just enjoy the images. That's the way to go.
As you can see, there's not a whole lot of text. So I love this, and I love the way that he made the exposures based on the length of the film. That's so much of it. Just takes so much of what night photography is about and has always been about for me is the the randomness of it.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful to see the light. When you can pour over these images and really look at them. I mean, obviously you're only seeing a little tease here, through this, but when you really pour through these images, you're really seeing the beauty of that bounce light come back and fill in and give some of that kind of backlighting. Plus, if there was any sort of strip lighting that's kind of going on in the scene, it's all the lighting is so well controlled. And that's a perfect white box too on the screen, but using that as the bounce to kind of fill the screen is beautiful.
So there's kind of three distinct groups of images in there. There's the classic American movie palaces from the first half of the 20th century in the US. Then there's these grand old European theaters, and then the drive-ins.
Yeah.
So, all theaters that are, disappearing or gone. Oh, and then there's a more recent group of dilapidated and crumbling theaters that are no longer in use, but he's managed to get permission to go in and set up a projector and run a film for the shot. And I read that he's actually not just, he's actually running a film even in these falling down abandoned theaters.
He's got to.
Yeah. Right? It's not shining a light on the screen. He's running a film.
So this, I will say, he has inspired me. I went to a movie theater in Phoenix and did a Sugimoto shot, and got the star trails, modern cars in front of it. It's good. It was good to do that. I've done it 3 times. I've done my Sugimoto sort of inspired shots. I did it in Scottsdale. Then I was in Greece on an island, and they were doing an outdoor theater, and I'm like, outdoor theater, I'm going to do a long exposure. Let's see what happens. And that one was very interesting because it was sort of like 50 people just sitting at tables outside at this like cafe kind of theater. And I'm obviously shooting these digitally, and you cannot expose it for the entire. What I will say is, you cannot do that anymore.
No, 90-minute exposure.
No 90-minute exposure. I was like, it was like 2 to 4 to 6, maybe 15 minutes, to do that now. My most successful one, let's see, what was, wait a minute, why am I spacing? I did it it was in Grafton, West Virginia. Nancy's family is from Grafton, West Virginia. We would go there, and they had a kind of like this beautiful outdoor drive-in that I was able to document the last years of it. So I really felt special and honored to do that. And I shot it both live, but then I went there one night on my own, and there was no movie playing, and I got some beautiful shots. I got like a shot. I haven't shared the shot so much, so maybe I'll share it later this week. But I got a wonderful shot of the Milky Way arching kind of over the screen that is no longer lit with it, but I also got a cool star trail shot with it. So again, as well as Lance and so many of you in this room, we're kind of addicted to that nostalgia, and that sort of Lost America theme is common to us. And I grew up with drive-ins. I saw Empire Strikes Back on the drive-in in Cape Cod. Love that. And
roughly.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, exactly. So to kind of, again, we talked earlier about being inspired by them, and whether you're trying their style, copying it, or again, like I tried their style, saw what the digital did, but then I went there one night on my own and just kind of explored it and had fun. And then I ended up also sharing those images with them, and I got it to them right before they kind of closed it down, and they were so happy and thankful for it. So
very cool. Hey, well, let's we have a few more books to cover, so let's move on. This is Celestial Nights, Visions of an Ancient Land by Neil Folberg. And Neil Folberg currently lives in Jerusalem, and he runs the Vision Gallery, which he took over from his father, Joe Folberg, who opened Vision in San Francisco in the 80s. And Vision Gallery in San Francisco was very, very different from the traditional photo gallery and from the other galleries. If you know any of the photography scene in San Francisco, there's the Frankel Gallery and Robert Koch, and until a few years ago, Stephen Wertz Gallery, where Michael Kenna was represented. But they're all very highbrow, sterile environments, and you're not slumming when you go to any of these galleries. But the Vision Gallery, did you ever go to Vision, Gabe?
I'm sure I did. Yeah, that was a very
It was
reputable
on Folsom.
Yeah. I've been to it. Yeah, because we did Gallery Friday, Gallery Thursdays, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So we hit them all, and that one was always very strong with the photography.
He had bins, basically racks of matted prints in glassine envelopes that you could look through, rather than the drawers where you had to ask to see something. Everybody could flip through.
That's cool.
A stack of Paul Caponegro or Ruth Bernhard original prints.
Wow.
He was about making photography accessible, and he started the gallery basically to promote the work of his son, this guy. Now, let's talk about the book and the work here. These images were made between 1997 and 2000, and they are obviously at that time shot on film. And I've got a few tabs in here.
Yeah. These are absolutely beautiful. You turned me on to this book, and this is definitely one of my favorite top 10 books.
So these images are made in the Sinai Desert, in Israel and Jordan and Egypt. And many of them are composite images, both shot on film. The landscape shot in infrared, and then the sky images were shot through a telescope on a tracker, which was the only way you could do, astrophotography on film. And then they were scanned and combined and printed by Dan Burkholder, actually.
Oh, cool! I don't know if I remember seeing that.
Really, this Neil is primarily a landscape photographer, but this particular project is all I've seen of his night work. And this is one of the ones that you can actually pick up very reasonably priced, like like $15 or less on either Amazon or ABE Books.
Underrated book. Underrated. That book should be way more than that. That's a beautiful and to see how popular trackers are now for digital, and that we didn't even think about that. And there are actually a few film photographers doing that right now. But that he's doing that. What blew my mind with this book is I got this book early on, with digital, and I'm like, my God, how did he get these stars? That's the thing. One thing we couldn't get in the film days was star points, and everything. And he got it, and then just blending it. The work he put into that is beautiful, meticulous, and you couldn't tell it was compositive. Beautifully done.
The idea when you first hear that, they're infrared with landscapes with telescopic tracked images putting together as composites, it doesn't sound like it's going to work at all. But they're gorgeous. They're his idea was that he wanted to recreate the feeling that he had out in the desert under the night sky. That they're fairly realistic, but some of them are a little bit fanciful, but I think they really work.
They work. Yeah.
They work so well. And the idea, the concept that it mirrors or reflects the experience of standing underneath the Milky Way it really comes through quite well.
Yeah, because when you're not shooting the stars and you're just underneath them, they do seem bigger. And by using the telescope and kind of zooming in and bringing the stars closer than regular to landscape, you do get that feeling. So
and the infrared images, I think it works really well at recreating that feeling of the nocturnal landscape. So that's a great one, and the Sugimoto book is a big outlay of cash, but Neil Fulberg, Celestial Nights is
easy to add to your collection, please.
An easy one, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna suggest another kind of new one that I think it costs $100, but this is one now. Because let's mention this because books are not necessarily, they're not Bitcoin. You know, we're not going to retire on this, but you know, it has happened that in every now and again, I've gotten a book, you know, that's worth 10 times what it is, or when I got it, now it's grown. So there is that opportunity that you can, you know, whether sell it or whether you pass it down or something like that. Books can be an investment. Obviously, take care of them.
Investment opportunities.
Yeah, that's exactly. We're going to do investment opportunities tonight. This is one I think you should invest in if you've got the room. Oh my goodness, look at this, folks. Steve Wilkes, Day to Night. You can see just, this thing weighs 10 pounds. It comes in this box over here. Right? So you're at least protected, you know, by it. But this is available on Amazon, his website, etc. Abe Books. We like Abe Books a little bit better than Amazon. Just it better supports the local bookstores. I can't flip through this book. I apologize. So we're going to really study this first page. And Stephen Wilkes has been around for a long time. You know, both Lance and I love his Ellis Island work. He got into Ellis Island, and he's got a beautiful book on that. More shot, I believe that was shot with large format, not night stuff or anything, but just beautiful books, beautiful images of Ellis Island, and sort of a lot in its naturalized state, so to speak. But this is a project. I think, if you're not familiar with his Day to Night series, he's been doing this for close to 10 years now. And these are just amazing, amazing images that he's getting commissioned to do now. This is Coney Island right here. And basically he goes up high, usually on a cherry picker. He's got a medium or large format digital camera, and he's up there for anywhere from 8 to 14 hours taking photographs. Taking that same photograph, you know, it's not a panorama. He's not, you know, kind of moving the camera. He's always has the camera still. But what he's this is a massive major composite, because what he's looking for is time and that evolution of light from day to night. So we can see the night aspect of Coney Island over here. And as it transitions, you know, to midday, and to early morning, you know, over here. So he's first showing that in each image. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be from left to right, right to left. He goes diagonally, he goes horizontally, vertically, whatever. He's getting very, you know, creative with that. But the beautiful thing is to really pour over these images, because he's often plucking, really, if you could see all the people on that boardwalk, that's not one single image. All those people probably came from the 500 plus images that he took. So he's looking for all the little moments that are going on and putting them together in post. I got to meet him on his gallery show when he first, you know, presented this. And I actually have the gallery book of that. He gave it to me. Nice. And my main question to him was like, so you're up in this cherry picker. Beautiful work, by the way, Stephen. Love it. You know, love the day to night time transition, the whole thing. But you're up in these cherry pickers for 8+ hours. My question to you is, how the heck do you go to the bathroom? You can't move, right? You can't move. And he's up in the cherry picker with an assistant, like shooting right to, you know, he's kind of shooting this tethered right to a laptop so he can see and really kind of like, I want that one for this one, flag that one for that person. He's kind of doing a lot of that editing in you know, right there in person. But he does bring a bucket and a lunch up.
A bucket. You know, having been in one of those things before and, you know, doing some aerial stuff, there's a lot of vibration.
Yeah.
Trying to imagine how he manages to pull that off, especially having an assistant up there too. Jeez.
Yeah. That's
incredible.
That is huge files, heavy lifting in Photoshop or whatever, you know, he's using. I would assume it's Photoshop or Capture One or whatever he's using that. And then just, you know, it takes him months, because he's, even though he's doing his best to flag those while he's shooting it, then okay, for this image, I'm just going in there for that one person eating that hot dog, right? Okay, so I just remember that one. That's the hot dog shot. Go in, mask that one person, bring them into the master background that you're using, or you probably blend the backgrounds first and then put in the people. I don't know. It's magic. If you're not familiar with it, check it out. This book, like I said, $100 now, but I think this book will be, when it's out of production, it'll be $300 to $500. So it's a worthy investment.
And when, I read that he uses up to 2,000 images to make one of these. And, the amount of detail that you're describing that he goes into to take little teeny sections of these individual photographs. Just to be clear, he makes gigantic prints, right?
Yes.
So you get a sense of what's in there in the book, but, to think about the nitpicky detail of going through, 1,000 to 2,000 images to make the final, it's because he makes wall-size, monstrous prints of this.
And it's beautiful, and that's why the book's that big. It's like this is like, I don't. If I were to guess that size, it's not. It's like 11 by 17, I think. Is the size of it. It's
by 3, right?
It's worthy, and then add the poundage. And all right, so I got my workout. What's your next suggestion?
Okay. My next suggestion is a New York photographer. So somebody in Europe. No, we're not doing how-to books. We're doing monographs tonight. So this is Lynn Seville's first book. It's called Acquainted with the Night, and it is paired with poems selected by her husband, by a number of, poets, as you might expect. And this book is from 1997. They are 35 millimeter black and white images from New York, and from Paris and from India. They're, and also some from, they're actually from all over the place. Portland, Greece. Here's the cover shot, Paris, and
beautifully urbanly romantic books, right?
Yeah. So these images, some of them are handheld short exposures, almost street photography like, but they're all about mood and atmosphere more than anything else. They're pretty loose. Forward by Bill Myers, and the title "Acquainted with the Night," of course, is from the Robert Frost poem "I am one, have been acquainted with the night." Her second book, that was 1997, Night Shift. She moved to, this is 2009. She moved to medium format color negative film. And some of these images were shot with medium format film. Why am I having so much trouble here? I can't do this. I'm backwards. Everything is backwards. And some of these were her early digital images. So these are a lot of twilight images, mixed lighting, which is what, one of the things that both Gabe and I like is shooting in. Here's absolutely one of my favorite ones.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Nice. What a decisive, her first book is so black and white and noir, like that romantic sort of mysterious. And this one fully embraced the color and really just went there with it.
One of her more better known images is the Pepsi sign.
The Pepsi, yep.
Where is that Pepsi sign, Gabe?
I don't have that book. That is in Queens. That's right by Matt and I used to shoot there. It's Gantry Square.
Here it is.
Yep. Very accessible. That doesn't look like that anymore. Now it's all it's very well lit. now, and a very nice like Brooklyn Bridging Park. It's the Astoria's little park,
Okay.
but
So yeah,
beautiful.
you can go back and shoot this stuff over again, or reshoot it, or retrace the footsteps, but don't expect to see the same thing.
Right, of course.
All right, so here is there we go.
Oh,
The
I don't
most
know this
recent
one. I don't know this one.
This is Dark City 2015, Urban America at Night.
So that's Brooklyn Bridge, right? That's the Brooklyn Bridge in the background. Yeah, beautiful. There's so much. I've never seen that shot. What a great interpretation.
And these are all about basically the transitional spaces and places, and she has kind of a theme of running through a lot of them. Nice. Are ladders and brooms.
Interesting.
Of spaces and places in transition. So there, she's finding, elements of
cool
little moments in time,
and
they're lovely. I love this work. Here's one from Portland, Maine. Like this one a lot.
Yeah.
So this is a gorgeous book. This is another one that is still available. I don't know why, but it's actually remaindered right now.
Okay, I'm getting mine.
I bought this one sealed and shrink wrapped, brand freaking new for $9.
Oh, geez! Wow,
Figure
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you met Lynn? Have you ever worked with her? Or?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've shot in Dumbo a couple of times.
Nice.
And she's shown in Boston at Caiaphas. So we used to meet there a couple of times. We actually have the same medium format camera, that Ebony 6x9 view camera. Oh. So we consulted. She consulted with me. I think she bought it after shooting with me and seeing it.
Okay, right on. Nice.
She's also shot with Tom Pava, Troy's brother, a number of times as well. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And she teaches a Twilight photography class at ICP.
Okay. Too. Yep. Perfect. Yeah, check her out. Any New Yorkers here, definitely check out her work. Take a class with her. We should get her on NPAN sometime. She'd be great. So.
Yeah, good for conversations. You're right.
Yep, definitely. All right, so let's see. I think also. So I was talking about Urban Nights. I'm going to show this book. This made your list. This has been a favorite of mine. This is Secret City by Jason Langer. Also, it's funny you mentioned who was in. Wait, we didn't know. What's that?
Ralph Horn. I mentioned
Ralph Horn. Yeah, but Jason was also a assistant to Michael Kenna. Michael Kenna assisted. He was doing the darkroom work for Ruth Bernhard, master printer there, and then Jason got to work with both Ruth's work as well as Michael's work, and you could see a little bit of Michael's influence on him, but I actually see more of a modern Versailles look. And this Secret City, this was his first book. This is a little hard to get. You can also get his 20-year retrospective, which includes most of this work, plus his other darker, more daytime work. But I like his work. It reminds me of sort of Versailles, exploring the sort of underbelly of the secret of the urban cities. And he also prints, some of it is during the day, but he prints it down like Brandt used to print down the day stuff to give it that gritty and more urban look to it. So we'll flip through a few here. Let me get it queued up.
Yeah, there's really a dark, edgy, quality to his work. It's somehow reminds me a little bit of Ralph Gibson, and Versailles, and the paintings of Edward Hopper all rolled into one. There's some little ominous things about them.
right? That's definitely a daytime shot, but again, printed down, just mysterious.
Little Robert Frank in there too.
Little Robert Frank influence in there. Yep, for sure. But I love these little vignettes.
So I'd also say, if you guys who are listening, if you're on Facebook, follow Jason Langer, because his commentary, he has some just really, really wonderful commentary on photography in general and collecting photographs. Really super intelligent guy, and just somebody definitely worth following and pursuing. So
nice.
Cool guy. And let's see. This was not on the list, but since we mentioned him, I'm going to show it here. This is Rolf Horn.
Nice.
28 photographs. This is another Nazreli Press book. This is an original gelatin silver print tipped in here to the cloth binding.
Nice.
And it comes in the slip cover here.
Nice.
So Rolf was Kenna's assistant after Jason Langer. And let me pull out a couple of images here. And Rolf and Michael had a little parting of ways because, well, his imagery started to mirror that of his employer a little bit too closely. So, it's understandable to be inspired and motivated by Mr. Kenna, but yeah. So, but they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous images. These are.
Oh wow, those are nice. Love that.
Yeah, they're really lovely. He's still in San Francisco. He's represented by Scott Nichols, and still shooting black and white medium format film, square images. So there are a lot of photographers over the years who have been inspired by Michael Kenna and perhaps gone a little bit too far in in their homages. But anyway, that's a gorgeous book, 28 photographs by Rolf Horn. It's out of print. And that's the one that you can't really find very easily used copies, but he does have it on his website as a blurb book at this time.
Okay, cool.
But,
cool.
Since we've talked about two of Michael Kenna's assistants so far,
we should segue.
We should segue. As far as I know, his current assistant, Mark, does not have a book out. He doesn't even have a website of his photographs, and maybe it's intentional. But let's pull up some of Michael's work. In the first edition of this blog post, we did Night Walk, which was a small paperback produced by Friends of Photography in 1989 of Michael's early black and white 35 millimeter imagery. And then we did, as another book in the essential list, Night Work, which was a collection of all of his night images. Now, if you're not familiar with Mr. Kenna, he photographs both in the daytime and at night, and does not distinguish between the two. He doesn't think of himself, he doesn't separate day and night photography. He just says, I'm a photographer. I make pictures, sometimes at night, sometimes during the daytime. Doesn't really matter. My daytime pictures look like night. Sometimes they look, the nighttime pictures look like day. It doesn't really matter. So it's kind of a little unusual from, the way most of us think of separating or specializing in nighttime photography. Anyway, I pulled out a couple more of his books. The man is incredibly productive.
To say the least.
Over about a 35-year career, he's produced more than a book a year of photographs, and they are generally of outstanding quality. So tonight, let's say we're going to look at Mont Saint Michel, the Rouge, Venezia, and Ratcliffe Power Station.
All right. Buckle in.
Buckle in. So these are all 4 books that feature a lot of his night images, and some of the my favorite work. So Ratcliffe Power Station. Let's do this one first.
Yeah.
He started this in his early work in the late 1970s into the early 1980s, 35 millimeter. And these are a nuclear power station in the UK.
Right, that he asked to get access for and talked about, that he wanted to just take these pictures, and they let him in. That that it just was a perfect timing or whatever. Obviously, nuclear stations have gotten bad reps, but he made these beautiful, just outstanding studies, right? Studies in time with these nuclear power stations. Really beautiful book.
Yeah, and he said on multiple occasions that this work is not political. He's not trying to make a statement about nuclear energy one way or another, or here's a great one.
Yeah.
It's not a commentary. He has his own opinions and feelings about issues, but his work is 100% about the visual.
Yeah, which those are just beautifully strong lines and movement. It's like.
Yeah. This one is the Rouge Ford Motor Plant in Detroit.
I don't have this one. Oh boy.
You don't have this one, Gabe?
No.
Oh man. Okay.
Oh boy.
So this is the first edition. It's a little hard to come by. This one is expensive. I scored an amazing deal on this one. I picked this up from Tim Whalen at
nice
in Portland, and he traded it for a copy of my book.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it had been out of print for, like 15 years, and they're selling for $150 or so. But, the good news for you guys is that this book has been reissued and is currently available for, $45 or $50. But anyone who's interested in or attracted to industrial architecture, and you can see that there's this ambiguous day, night, very much in the spirit of Bill Brandt, who he was inspired by, and actually from the same part of Northern England. So, yeah, I love this one.
If you like this, you're going to love coming to Sloss. Just saying.
Right. Yeah. So these are from the early to mid 1990s.
Sweet. Beautiful.
This is the Rouge Ford Motor Plant in Detroit. Michael Kenna. The new one has a different cover, but it's the same inside. Either one you can pick up. All right. Venezia, this one's still in the shrink wrap. I'm trying to keep the cloth bound slip case nice and clean.
Yep.
This book is one that a lot of people kind of panned and said it's his weakest book, weakest work. I don't
understand that.
It's a little slight. There's not a terrible amount of images in here, and many of them are from, the Piazza San Marco, the most.
So maybe he only spent 2 weeks there instead of spending 3 months there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Venice is just such a magical place, right? It's such a magical place built around the water, and to play with time there and to get his vision there I think it's It's a beautiful book.
You know, there are relatively few images in here, but they're all these big full-page, beautifully. It's gorgeously printed.
Yeah, yeah, and it lends itself. Venice lends itself to long exposures and these beautiful, foggy nights.
Many, but not all of his books are printed by Nesreli Press. It's a boutique photography press in the Central Coast of California. Chris, the publisher, has an olive orchard, and he's now making olive oil, and he also has units that he's renting out on Airbnb, so you can stay and check out the library of Michael Kenna books on Airbnb. Now, since we pulled this one up, Gabe, did you pull out any of Kenna's books that you have there?
I have the Mont Saint Michel, because to me, this book, it's a nice small book, beautifully done. Also got the slipcover, but to me, this one, besides Night Walk and Night Work, this one is the most sort of night-centric book. You know, and it has one of the few images of star trails. You don't see star trails much in his work. And it's also this place has obviously been trending since Instagram. But, this is this little just island that, this is, the sea taketh and you can take these beautiful shots of the land and covering it up, but also the sea. And it's this beautifully kept medieval town. And
can we do a workshop there?
We most certainly should. You heard it here first. Let me get to it. But this is, I remember a lot of just beautiful. When I saw the shot, I'm like, oh, this is a place I need to go. This is just such an amazing time to shot. One of his shorter exposures, right? But perfectly captured. You can see definitely beautiful architecture. He loves that. But then he got out under the architecture at night. Let me see if I should have here we go. Here comes the night. What these were shot in like the 90s, I would assume.
No, I think it's a little bit later.
Okay.
You got to get that one of that beam of light shooting out across the plaza there. That that too. God.
That's a beautiful one, right? Yeah, here it is. Right, the reflection of the architecture in the sky. Oh yeah, the beam of light right here. Which I know Ken Lee mentioned that no more. This is the year that we don't stick our flashlights up into the Milky Way, but we could still use the city lights to kind of shine it up. But I remember. So this was the first night. I don't know why I'm not flipping the right way, but I'm trying to find that star trail shot in here because I was like, whoa, they're beautiful.
Love that one.
Yeah. This is just a beautiful book of an amazing, special place that we'll be teaching a workshop at soon. I guess you heard it here. You heard it here first.
Yeah. So as we mentioned, Michael Kenna has published somewhere around 40 monographs of his black and white photography. Then in the last 15 years or so, much of it has been in Asia. He started in Japan, moved up to Hokkaido, the northern island of Japan, and then has since photographed in China and Korea. $902, Jay. Let me put that up there. Woo! There's some weird stuff going on Amazon that I've searched for some books and found ridiculous pricing like that, and then closed the browser and searched again and found one for $40. There's something weird going on there.
Or check out Abe Books. We like Abe Books.
That's abebooks.com.
Yeah.
It's a great reseller. it's a marketplace of small independent booksellers like Amazon has, but they're a little bit more oriented towards the seller. They're a little bit more fair and reasonable in their fees, and it's not that monstrous thing. We got one more bonus book. Since we were talking about
bonus book.
Since we were talking about Michael Kenna's Venice book, Luca Campigotto.
Oh, cool.
This book is available in an English language version. This is from 1995. I bought it in France in 95, but there is an English version around as well. This is all work that was shot on 4x5 film in Venice by a Venetian.
Cool. Beautiful.
These are absolutely gorgeous, and they are a little bit. Let me pick some good ones here. A little bit further away from the tourist spots.
That's nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, obviously shot by a local, you'll get the more of that flavor.
So this is Luca Campigotto, and check out his website. He's got a number of interesting projects, as well as a more recent version of his Venice work.
Emmanuel posted that the Venezia book is, look at that, 155 on ABE, so not the 902. I love that we're getting the live pricing on it as we talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, so hey, while we're talking about that, we hope you guys will actually go and read the blog post that inspired this blog chat tonight. Mm-hmm. And all of the books on the blog post, as well as on the nationalparksatnight.com bookshelf, which includes, all of our favorite books, not just the ones in the blog post. They are affiliate links that help us produce this content for you guys. So, you don't pay any more. We get a small commission if you're going to purchase some of these books,
especially that $900 book.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we might get $9 for it. We certainly appreciate it. You being here and hanging out with us on Tuesday nights. But if you're going to purchase some books, go through the links on the website. Will help us continue to bring this content to you. So, thank you very much for that.
Yes, I dropped the links in the chat as well for both YouTube and Facebook. So you should have the links to our bookshelf.
Excellent. All right.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, you got one more, right?
One more each. I see 2 books left by me. So you should have one, and I should have one. There's Bogart, and then there's World at Night.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Oh, right. Don't Bogart that book. Well,
which one do you want me to do?
Both of them. I didn't pull either one of them.
Okay, boom. All right. So this one was on Babak Tafreshi.
Yep, you got it.
Yep. This was, I think, Lance, you I don't know if this made the last. No, this didn't make the last list, but it made our bookshelf, and so and I believe this might have made our gift guide or something like that, because I got it for Christmas, so I got it as a gift.
Yeah, I think so.
And I enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed, because of how it's categorized, and they did it. They featured the night skies. In one category is One People, One Sky, World Heritage Sites, which I love. World Heritage Sites, sacred places. So to see that they've categorized and organized the night skies, and World at Night is an organization that Babak has put together. So there are a lot of his images, but it's also many of the people that are part of that organization. I think Lance pointed out, and it is noticeable that there's not enough women in that organization. So we'd like to see more women in that organization. But it is a beautiful, beautiful book. We'll look for that in version 2. But Hidden Universe, Events That Shook the World, Fragile Beauty of Darkness, and Dark Sky Refugees are just some of the categories. And I'll just flip through some of these so you can kind of see as we go through. But really, really, really beautiful book. I find it's well done. A lot, and then you got a nice blurb about, the Southern Sky section. So collecting photographers and images from all over the world. Oh, beautiful. The phenomena and the sky, really beautiful way to kind of educate yourself and inspire you to take night photography everywhere you go. So wonderful, wonderful book. And this is very new, very easy to get. So World at Night. And then I think the last book, which is not a picture book, but is a wonderful book on night photography. And if you were at our Night Photo Summit, we actually got Paul Bogard right there. He was one of our speakers. I met him. I've had this book for a while. I've read it over a couple times, actually. And he spoke at, I got to meet him finally at the Grand Canyon Star Party in 2019. And just wonderful, wonderful. This is more just, obviously, more of just educational, just the words, no images in here, but just a wonderful look at sort of the history of night and what's happening to the night is, because of all the light pollution that is happening on, are we looking at the end of night? And I love understanding the history of night that it wasn't long ago, that people, would just be walking around. There were no street lamps. People were just walking around by, lantern light, candle light, and stuff like that. We would look at, Van Gogh's Starry Night Along the Rhone, and you see that was at the beginning of this of lamp lights, kind of, making the night safe. We've talked about, had conversations about that, and people not being comfortable with night because it's dark, right? And obviously we've brought light to the night to make ourselves more comfortable with the night. But what is it? It's actually kind of destroying the natural view of the night. And for so many of us, obviously, who live in urban areas, we can't see the stars. We can't, I didn't get to witness Neowise this year because I couldn't get out of the bright lights. And that was, when you think about Native American Indian, and also the people, I'm watching the Vikings right now, that they were under the night skies all the time and inspired by that. And that kind of, the night skies kind of dictated their culture, their religion, and everything else. Is just amazing. It wasn't too long ago. So really great read to just get level up on your knowledge and understanding of the night.
Right on. So we'll be back with deep cuts, and if you think those, some of you might say those were deep cuts, but
well, what I'll say is, hey, if you've got a favorite night photography book, post it in the comments. Let's do that. So here we go. Let's put that banner up. What's your favorite night photography book? Post it in the chat. Let us know. We're always looking for new good reads. And if you're working on a book, I know we always will promote our alumni and any good. We're always looking for a good book. So if you come out with a good book, let us know. We'll love to take it in and hopefully promote it for you. So I want to thank you all for another night of Lance. We did it. We did it all by ourselves here. Look at this. So proud. Yay. Matt's up there smiling at us.
Smiling down at us. But want to thank you for, another blog chat, another wonderful week of blog chat. Don't forget to, if you enjoyed this, hit like. If you haven't subscribed to us, follow that subscribe button down below here somewhere. Wherever it is. And also don't forget to follow, we do a weekly blog, folks. It's, so sign up for that weekly blog if you're not already. Sign up for that blog. In the next couple of weeks, we've got blogs that will be talking about blending, the night photography. We got one, I'm working on one, DSLRs versus mirrorless for night photography. And there was another one. I think it's kind of in the works as well. But we're always, working. They typically get published over the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. So we don't bombard you with a lot of information, but sign up for that. And also this week on Instagram Live. Tomorrow I host Instagram Live.
and you want to follow us on our Instagram channel. And I'll be talking with Sherry Pincus, who is a wonderful hiker, wilderness adventurer, and explorer. She also spoke at our Night Photo Summit, and we're going to just talk about, going beyond just the parking lots and really exploring and hiking and all the considerations and the adventures and the beauty that you can find kind of off the beaten path for it. So
backcountry photographer. Sherry's awesome.
Yeah. So that'll be 8 p.m. on our Wednesday nights on our Instagram channel. So,
and again, let me echo what Gabe said. And, thank you guys so much for being here, spending your Tuesday evening with us. We know that everybody's getting a hell of a lot of screen time in the last year or so. So every minute that you spend with us is special, and we appreciate it. Awesome. So thank you. We appreciate you being here, and come on back and let's go out and make some photographs.
We're looking forward to workshops. I know we're kicking off our workshops this month, right? Isn't Charleston this month?
Yeah, Charleston's coming up in a couple of weeks.
This month, right? Joshua Tree's coming up. I'm leading that. Shenandoah, we got a bunch of workshops coming up. We're following all safety protocols, so definitely, and they're a small person anyways, and they're out in these beautiful locations under the dark skies. So definitely, if you're interested in coming and join us, a lot of them are sold out, but join that wait list because you never know. People might come down last minute, and you might be able to enjoy an adventure with us very soon.
Oh my goodness. Katrina, I'm so with you, man. I'm so zoomed out myself.
Katrina, happy Lofoten anniversary. We were out in Norway last year. Woohoo! Jay's asking for details on Everglades. Are you signed up, Jay? Or is he?
Yeah. They're
coming.
We've had some hotel snafus, but they are forthcoming. Chris just got some updated information today. So look for it soon, Jay.
Awesome. Yeah, Everglades is going to be great, special. Love it. I might. Oh, should I sneak in for that one?
Well, awesome. we're going to do a little. We're going to do a day trip to Biscayne and meet with Gary.
Awesome. You got him. Yeah. You got him for sure.
Ranger Gary.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, folks. This has been a great extended blog chat and book review and book overview. We look forward to deep cuts next year, 2022 deep cuts.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.